Hello, my crafting friends. If you love crafts that are easy, beautiful, budget friendly, and rustic, then come craft with me. I'm Sarah, and welcome to my channel, Primroselaneprims. If you haven't done so already, I hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button and crafting with me again in the future. And now, without further ado, let's get into crafting. For this first DIY, we are going to make a little centerpiece that is perfect for a little breakfast nook table or a side table or even a little shelf. And I'm going to start off using one of these glass vases from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to give it 2 coats of my Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White. In today's DIYs, you're going to see a common theme of cherry blossoms, which cherry blossoms are one of my favorite florals to decorate with. So I'm going to be using cherry blossoms in my DIYs today. So here is what our little vase looks like after 2 coats of the chalk paint. You can see it's not perfect, it's not completely covered, but that's okay because we're going to make this look rustic and antiqued, and you'll never know those little not covered places are there. So I'm going to take my Waverly Antique Wax from Walmart here, and real lightly, I'm just going to blot some of it off my brush in just a really light amount. Start lightly dry brushing this all in one direction around my vase. Now you could spray paint your vase white too if you prefer to spray paint. I like using the chalk paint because it adds a really nice texture to the glass vase that I really like. And when you put the antique wax over top the chalk paint, that wax kind of gets down into that texture that the chalk paint leaves, and it provides a really pretty effect. So once I just lightly dry brush over the entire base, I'm going to go back there with the side of my brush, and I'm not putting any extra antique wax on it. This is just the original amount, and I'm just going to use my brush, the side of my brush, to start blending in, making a little darker spots here and there all the way around the base, focusing on the edges and the bottoms. Just anywhere it looks like I need to fill in any of those places that the white chalk paint wasn't completely covered. Just get it down in there real good and just distress it till it looks old and antiqued. Now for the front of my base, I just made this little printable. It says Primrose Lane Farms. And I did link this in the description box if you want to print and use this same one. And when I originally cut it, it has this little black kind of border, little ring border around it. And it was just a little bit too big for my vase. So I just trimmed this off right around close to where the lettering is so that it fits on the front of my vase. If you're using a little bit bigger vase, you can probably keep that on there. It won't be a problem. But for me, it was just causing a little problem. So to attach it, I'm just going to take my matte finish Mod Podge, and I'm going to nice little layer here all over the front of my vase. Get it at least nice and smooth. And I'm even taking it up because I'm going to take this Mod Podge all over the entire vase to seal in this paint in a minute anyways, so it's all uniform in texture as well. I'm just going to place my little printable here. This is just printed out on my just little inkjet printer. And I'm going to start in the center. And because this vase is curved, it does want to leave a couple little wrinkles, but that's okay. They don't bother me. I'm just going to push out from the center and get this as smooth as possible. Like I said, there will be a couple little wrinkles, but once I'm finished with it distressing, I think it just adds to the rustic charm of the whole piece. So just gently smoothing out this paper, getting it down in that Mod Podge really good all over so that it is adhered really well. Now, while that is drying on the front a little bit, I'm going to go ahead with my Mod Podge and go around the whole rest of the vase and seal this paint in. I have used this technique on glass so many times with chalk paint and Mod Podge, and I have never had any paint chip doing it this way. So once I let the Mod Podge dry a little bit over my little label here, I'm going to go back in with my Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm just going to start dry brushing right over top this whole thing and focusing around those edges in particular. I don't want the paper to look like, well, a freshly printed label that you just put on this vase that we've kind of antiqued up a little bit. And I'm going to take my damp rag here. I'm just going to blot some of the excess, kind of just lightly go over it to blend it a little bit better. And I'm even going to take and go around my vase a little more, even now that the Mod Podge is all dried, all around the rest of it, just to kind of blend that distressing, because there is quite a bit of distressing right around that label, and I just want it to kind of fade around and match the rest of the piece. And then once I've got that to my liking for the moment, I'm going to go over my label a second time with my Mod Podge, and even over some of these places where I added a little more of the antique wax around. And we're going to let that dry completely. And voila, like magic, it's dry. So you can see this is what it's looking like. Now for one final little round of distressing here, and to really focus on those edges, because I don't really want to see those paper edges too much, I'm going to take over top the dry Mod Podge and take my antique wax and just start dabbing really light amount right around those edges once again, and then blending it out into the rest of the vase. So this vase is going to look old. It's going to look rustic, like it's been sitting around for a while, and the dirt, the grime that kind of collects on old things is cut around the edges of this. It's good old dinge. Kind of dinge we like. So once it's all dry, this is what it turns out looking like. Now here are those cherry blossoms I told you about. I get these off of Amazon. I will leave the links for all my cherry blossoms that I used down in the description box. And I'm going to use 2 stems for this. And I have this little belt of greenery here that is the 97-cent greenery from Walmart. I'm going to pop that right in with my 2 cherry blossoms, as well as a couple of these little lavender berry sprigs. And here this is. It is so easy, so simple, so rustic, and oh so budget friendly. Now for this next DIY, I wanted to make a little something to go with our centerpiece. So I'm going to start off with my cardstock, fold it over here, and I'm just going to draw a little butterfly template. And I started off with rounded wings, and I decided, nope, I want them to be pretty kind of little elegant pointed wings. So I just went back and just changed those to points. And I will link my butterfly pattern. If you don't want to draw one of your own and you want to use mine, I will gladly link that as well for you to print out. So here is what my little butterfly looks like when it's cut out. And I'm going to take this corrugated cardboard. This is just an Amazon mailer. Every time I get these, I just stash them away for craft projects because they are perfect. And I'm going to take my butterfly pattern, trace it out on my corrugated cardboard mailer here, and cut it out. And I'm going to kind of bend it in half here because I want my butterfly to just not be flat. So I've got this piece of scrapbook paper. This is just literally some scrapbook paper I had. It has like some little book writing on it. And I just cut out a little piece approximately the size of my butterfly. And I'm going to lay my original butterfly pattern over top of it here. And I'm just going to kind of mark where this original pattern would be on it, because I want this, we're going to draw a second butterfly here, but I want it to be smaller than the original. So I just kind of marked where the original was. So as I'm tracing out this second butterfly, I can make it smaller than the original. Does that make sense? I hope so. And I'll include the smaller pattern as well with the larger pattern that I drew if you want to use mine. But hey, if you want to draw your own or print one out, that's absolutely okay too. You might say, Sarah, your butterfly's silly. I could do better, and you probably could. So once I have this second butterfly, the smaller butterfly on the scrapbook paper, I'm just going to cut it out, open it up, and you can see when I lay it on top, it's just slightly smaller than the original. So you can still see that cardboard underneath. And I'm going to add a little dab of hot glue and just glue right there in the center. And after that glue sets after a second, I'm just going to tilt these up a little bit because I want this to have like a 3D effect. Now I'm going to take my jute twine from Walmart. This is a thicker jute twine from Walmart. And I'm going to hot glue it here on the back of my little butterfly and take it around the front, wrap it right down the center of my little butterfly's body here. Give it a little definition. Press that down in that glue really good. Kind of lift those wings. I'll just finish it off right there in the back. Oops. Get it down in that glue really good. And for the head of my butterfly, his little antenna and head, I'm just going to take another piece of twine here, give myself a little bit of room here, and just tie it in a knot and cut my tails long. So the knot will be his little head and the two long tails will be his little antenna, and hot glue that right to the top of the twine in the center. I absolutely adore this little butterfly and how it turned out. Now, I want to make a little poke to put down in my flower arrangement, but you could also put a magnet in the back if you want to make a little magnet. You could use these in multiple ways. And I just grabbed a stick from my yard though to put on the back of mine. You could use a dowel rod or even a little bamboo skewer if you wanted to. I love the rustic effect of a stick, and it's free, and you gotta love free. So I'm going to hot glue that right to the back. And then for a final touch, I'm going to go in with a light amount of my antique wax, and I'm just going to go right around the edges of the cardboard as well as the scrapbook paper, just to give this a little bit of that aged, antiqued, rustic look that I love. A little bit right here in the center where those wings come together to highlight them. I absolutely adore how this little butterfly turned out, and it's made practically just out of scraps. Pop that right down into the floral, and look how sweet. Now for this last DIY, I wanted to make a wreath to match the little centerpiece piece, a little cherry blossom wreath. This is just a grapevine wreath from Walmart. And here are more of these cherry blossoms. Here are the white ones, as well as some pink ones. These are all from Amazon. And I'm going to use 4 bundles of each, 4 of the pink and 4 of the white here. This is a really simple, easy wreath to put together. And it turns out oh so sweet and also pretty, perfect for spring. And honestly, you could leave it out summer too. So I'm going to start by putting my pink cherry blossoms in first, followed by a white. And I'm going to kind of overlap these as I put them in. And then I'm going to go in with my rusty wire here that I get also off of Amazon. And I'm going to use that to secure my cherry blossoms to this wreath with this brown wire. It blends perfectly in with the grapevine. You don't even see it, and it keeps these nice and secure. And I'm going to add several pieces of wire anywhere it looks like some of these little branches need tucked down and held. I'm just going to add a little piece of wire here. Then I'll kind of tuck these, the pink and the white as where they're overlapped, kind of blend them together so that this wreath's going to look like a blend of the pink and white. So pink, white, here I go in with another bit of the pink bundle, slightly overlapping the white. And I'm just going to continue this process for about 3/4 of the way around this wreath. I want to leave a little bit of the grapevine wreath showing, kind of in a crescent shape is where we're going with these cherry blossoms. And then just kind of mixing them together as we go so that the colors look blended. This is a really fun and budget-friendly way to create a sweet little wreath. I know some of these cherry blossom wreaths you can look you find on Etsy and other places that'll cost you $100 or more, anywhere between $60 to $120. So this is a really, really budget-friendly way to make yourself an adorable wreath and save money. Who doesn't love to save money? Now I have a few of these little pink blossoms that fell off in the process. So I'm just going to take and hot glue these in just anywhere it looks like I need a little filler. Any place that looks like there's a hole or something, I'm just going to hot glue these little, couple of these little flowers that I knocked off while I was wiring them to my wreath. I couldn't figure out where they went but originally, so this works. It fills in any holes, any gaps. Look how pretty those are. Now I have these white pitberry. This was a little stem I had that I just ripped it apart so that they were individual pieces. And I'm going to take these and I'm just going to wire these intermittently all the way around in my cherry blossoms right to the wreath. These are just going to pop out of the cherry blossoms a little bit just to give it a little extra dimension, just a little bit more. Just anywhere I felt like one would look good. I think cherry blossoms are one of my favorite florals. Cherry blossoms and lavender. I love cherry blossoms and lavender. Drop me a comment. Tell me what one of your favorite florals to decorate with is. I think lavender and cherry blossoms I would leave out all spring and all summer. And here this is. It's so simple, but so sweet. So for today's projects, a wreath and a centerpiece, you can do all of these for under $50, and that's not too bad. So that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, be sure to follow me on socials. Drop me a comment. Let me know which of today's was your favorite. And until next time, God bless and happy crafting.